le premier ministre passe trop de temps à l'étranger?
Écoutez, une des choses qu'on doit faire, c'est de bâtir nos relations à l'international. On a dit une des façons de faire, c'est de diversifier notre économie, diversifier nos secteurs d'activité, mais aussi diversifier nos partenaires. Vous avez vu hier avec l'Indonésie. Je pense que c'est une bonne nouvelle. C'est ce qu'on veut faire. Moi, c'est ce que j'ai fait en Europe la semaine passée. Et c'est bien reçu parce que le Canada, c'est un partenaire de choix dans un monde. Moi, je vous dirais, dans un monde qui est en pleine transformation économique, c'est important que la voix du Canada soit entendue. Puis même en Europe, ce que les gens me disaient, c'est qu'on veut une voix transatlantique dans ces discussions-là. Donc, la voix du Canada, elle porte. Et la preuve, la dernière semaine, quand on était avec les ministres des Finances de l'Europe, la voix du Canada est importante. Les gens disent, écoutez, on peut être un partenaire de choix en énergie, en matière de minéraux critiques, en matière d'intelligence artificielle. Le Canada a beaucoup à offrir et c'est ça que j'entends, moi, de mes partenaires.
Est-ce que le directeur parlementaire du budget, le directeur parlementaire du budget s'attend à ce que le ratio dette-PIB atteigne 43 le ratio dette-PIB, c'était un point central dans l'ancien gouvernement Trudeau dont vous avez fait partie pendant des années. Et on disait plutôt de 30,
c'est un nouveau gouvernement. C'est un nouveau gouvernement.
Mais 43
non, mais
il va être à quel niveau?
Ce que je veux dire, on a donné nos ancrages à nous. Ce nouveau gouvernement.
Quels sont-ils?
Bien, écoutez, c'est très clair dans la plateforme. Je l'ai répété 4 fois la semaine dernière.
Le budget opérationnel?
Bien, le budget opérationnel, c'est important pour les gens qui nous écoutent. Ce qu'on a dit, c'est qu'on va équilibrer sur les 3 prochaines années le budget de dépenses opérationnelles. On va dépenser moins pour investir plus. Ensuite de ça, un instant. Ensuite de ça, on a dit que sur cette période-là, il y aurait un déclin du ratio qu'on appelle déficit sur le PIB aussi et qu'on attirait 500 milliards d'investissements sur cette période-là. Donc, on était très, très clair sur nos ratios. Et je peux vous dire que ces ratios-là, quand vous les comparez aux autres pays du G7, le Canada est dans une très bonne...
C'est quoi la cible pour le ratio dette-PIB?
Bien, ce que j'ai dit, c'est ça, il va être en déclin sur cette période-là. Si vous regardez dans la plateforme, c'est exactement ce qu'on a dit, puis c'est exactement ce qu'on va faire. Alors, mais c'est pour ça que je vous dis que nous, on a mis... Bien, nous, ce qu'on a dit, c'est que nos ancrages fiscaux sont très clairs. Et quand vous regardez la situation du Canada dans le monde, écoutez, j'étais avec le ministre des Finances du G7, le Canada a une position enviable dans les pays du G7 parce que les gens comprennent qu'une grande partie du déficit qu'on a, c'est relié à ce qui est arrivé, tout ce qu'il y a eu comme changement dans le monde au niveau économique. Donc, une grande partie, c'était la réponse pour aider les travailleurs, l'industrie. Mais en même temps, là, ce qu'on fait, c'est qu'on dit on va dépenser moins pour investir plus parce qu'on doit faire cette transformation-là générationnelle pour assurer la prospérité à long terme. Alors, les gens comprennent très bien la différence entre quand vous achetez une maison, vous investissez, quand vous allez à l'épicerie, vous dépensez. Nous, ce qu'on dit, c'est qu'on va arriver sur cette période-là, 3 ans, à équilibrer nos dépenses opérationnelles, ce qui va nous permettre d'investir plus pour l'avenir du pays.
Minister, can we just get your name?
This is going to be a generational moment for Canada. We're going to be making generational investments to make sure that we build Canada for the 21st century. We said we're going to reduce our expenses so we can invest more. So the frame is really going back to 1945. This is a moment to build. And folks who are watching at home understand that with everything that's happened in the world, when you look at the deficit of Canada, a large part of that is in response to what has happened, not by choice, but we had to be there for workers. If you're in the auto sector, the steel industry, in the forestry industry, you expect your government to be there. You also expect the government to be there to shift the economy. So we need to be shifting our industry for the economy of the future and at the same time building partnerships. So Canadians understand that what we're saying is that we're going to spend less so we can invest more to make Canada prosper, like we did in 1945. We've done it before. Our grandparents have done it, and that's exactly...
But is the debt to GDP going to...
This is going to be a generational investment in our future, and our fiscal anchor have been very clear. We've said it last week. We've said it in the platform. What you see as the fiscal anchor in the platform are the fiscal anchor of this new government.
Is the report accurate? Is the report accurate?
Cuts to the wage. I'd like to ask about that.
Is the PBO report accurate?
Est-ce que vous craignez que les Canadiens aient l'impression que leur service diminue, leurs services postaux diminuent?
Je pense que le ministre Lightbound va en parler abondamment, donc c'est à lui. Canada Post there's a very serious situation, and I think Canadians expect the government to manage serious situations.
How is this government handling it differently than
Canada Post, in the business that we are in, everything is a trade-off. So we have some very clear priorities about building the country, about housing, and other initiatives. And the fact that Canada Post is losing so much money obviously detracts from our ability to accomplish those objectives.
En français là-dessus, est-ce que le syndicat est assez ouvert au changement selon vous?
Dans mon expérience, c'est avéré des négociations extrêmement difficiles où on questionnait carrément les chiffres. Donc, quand les chiffres sont les chiffres et une des parties ne croit pas les chiffres, évidemment, ça mène à des discussions difficiles.
Monsieur MacKinnon, le directeur parlementaire du budget s'attend à ce que le ratio de PIB atteigne 43 Vous avez fait partie d'un gouvernement où on disait plutôt le 30-31 de ratio de PIB, une pente descendante. Il ne s'attend pas à ce que ça descende non plus. Donc,
je vais laisser le ministre des
acceptable?
Finances parler de nos finances.
Mais vous avez fait partie d'un gouvernement où on disait 30-31
On va attendre le budget. Il y aura beaucoup plus de clarté.
On Canada Post, what does Minister Lightbound's announcement change in terms of the negotiation between union and the Canada Post?
Well, I mean, look, the union and the organization have to sit together and they have to figure out a deal that's going to result in strong terms for their members, but also strong service for Canada. And that's the job of the two parties with the support, obviously, of the Federal Mediation Service.
Are you prepared to weather the political storm if services are cut?
Well, listen, I'm not going to hypothesize about what will happen, but what I can say is that there are a number of industries in flux and in change, and that doesn't change the essential process of getting to a collective agreement. It is really a conversation and a willingness of the two parties to look at how they improve conditions for members, how they ensure the viability of their corporation, and that all happens at the mediation table with skilled mediators that can help. 97% of collective agreements, by the way, are arrived at without any labor action, and we really encourage these parties to continue this work.
Because the union has said that they feel blindsided by Minister Lightbound's announcement today. They just heard about it recently. They had a meeting with him last week. They didn't even hear about this, announcement for today.
Well, I mean, I can't say about what they know or what they don't know, but everybody knew about the Kaplan report. As you know, my colleague, Minister MacKinnon, commissioned a report just prior to me being appointed to look at some of the structural issues with Canada Post from the labour perspective, from the organization's perspective, and actually from the government perspective. So I think, all parties had access to that report, and I can't speak to what the union knew or didn't know, but that report was pretty comprehensive in terms of recommendations for everybody.
Thank you. Is the union open enough? Is the union open to change, in your opinion?
That's really a conversation for them to have internally with their corporation, and I think it's an important conversation.
Thank you so much.
Are you concerned that changes to Canada Post might piss off voters? People really care about that corporation. They, rural communities depend on the corporation for mail. Your government is proposing to make some pretty big changes. Are you concerned about that?
I think concern for sure. Just also concern for the cost related to it all. So it's been lots of challenges at Canada Post for many years. We've got to find that balance, making sure Canadians have great service from Canada Post, but we're being financially responsible too.
Do we still need it? Do your constituents still need Canada Post?
Well, obviously less so in the cities. There's a lot more competition now than there ever was. I think the challenges are more rural and making sure people feel that support in rural communities.
Okay, thank you so much, Minister.
My views with respect to Canada Post.
No, do you use it?
Oh, do I use Canada Post?
Yeah.
I do at the present time, absolutely.
Are you worried that Canadians will understand the change or not understand the changes that you guys are proposing today in terms of major transformation for the institution?
So I will leave it to my colleagues who are more familiar with Canada Post and its effect on Canadians. And that's all I have to say at the time being, for the time being. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Madam Drouin, can you speak a little bit about your trip to India and what the message you were giving to the security officials in India?
So mainly, you read my statement. I think you should refer to that. It was a very productive meeting where we established some channel of communication to talk about respective concerns. So in that sense, that was really...
Are you concerned that the Indian government is re-engaging in political interference in this country? Is there evidence to show that the Indian government may be sponsoring political
So I think
interference
it is in their interest, also in our interest, to see better safety in our streets. And that message was clearly passed to India.
Did you get a commitment from India that they would do more when it comes to cooperating with police here on the ongoing investigations?
Absolutely.
What did they tell you?
So they realized that, and the same thing on our side, by sharing information, we will have safer streets in Canada.
And what did Canada commit to in terms of sharing more information? Because that's been a complaint from India, that they don't know what the allegations are specifically.
So we didn't, I don't want to enter into the specific investigation. I think we were more talking about violence in our countries. They also talked about extraditions, as they want Canada to be faster in responding to their requests. Sorry, I'm breathing here. So that was mainly the conversation.
There have been concerns in the South Asian community here, though, that when we share information with India, it's used to punish it's used to punish people who criticize that government. That it's not used, it's used for diplomatic or political reasons. It's not used for, say, garden variety criminal offenses.
So again, I think that we have a common understanding and a common goal here. They want us to be very clear in terms of the one India and the respect of the integrity of their territory. And what we want is a safer street in Canada.
When it comes to restoring diplomatic relations, how would you describe the state of the relationship right now? Where are we at?
So I think that we have found a way, as I said, to address mutual concerns and for leaders to be able to talk about trade relationship.
And
Thank
for
you.
clarity, that arrest recently on firearms charges, was that connected in any way? There was an arrest here of a Sikh leader on firearms charges?
That case was not
connected?
related to my trip.
Not related at all?
No.
Okay.
Minister Anand going to India?
Yes, that is the plan.
And do you think that the PBO report is accurate? Is the PBO report accurate?
In which form?
Do you believe that it's a correct assessment that about the debt to GDP ratio, about the concern
Listen,
about rising
the
debt levels?
PBO released its own report. What I've been saying to Canadians, this is going to be a generational investment in our future. Canadians understand that with everything that has happened in the world, we'll need to invest to make sure we succeed, that we build this country like never before, that we diversify our economy, our market, our industry. And people understand this is like 1945. You need to look, the world has changed, the world economic order has changed significantly. I just come from a meeting with my colleagues in Europe, the finance ministers. I'll have a call with my finance minister colleagues in Canada. We have a G7 finance ministers call coming as well. Everyone understands the world has changed, and therefore what we need to do in Canada is to spend less in our operations so we can invest more in our future. And I think the fact that this is a generational investment in our future. People understand that, and I think the country is ready for that. We need to think differently. This is a pivot we need to make. It's once in a generation that something like that happen, and I think it's good news because Canadians will see the benefit. People understand we need to invest in the long term, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
But the report says that we're abandoning our fiscal anchors.
Listen, we have been very clear on the fiscal anchors. They are very clearly laid out, and I would say, the parliamentary budget officer can have his own view. My role is to ensure the long-term fiscal stability of Canada and make sure that the investments are there to support the Canadian economy for generations to come. And I think if you look at the position of Canada, going back to the G7, you would ask, and if you compare the number, you'd say we are in an enviable position in the ratios that you have, whether you're looking at debt or deficit. Canada is in a solid fiscal position, and at the same time, that solid fiscal position is what's going to lead us through this transformational thing we need to have in Canada. Canadians understand that.
It's a pretty scathing report, though. How are tax dollars being spent efficiently?
Mr. Minister, what was the legal justification for banning Kneecap? Have you been provided with the legal justification for banning Kneecap?
Oh, look, this is a decision that deals with other ministries. I'll invite you to raise it with my colleagues who may. That's not a file that I've got personal conduct of.
There's been allegations of criminal conduct to justify the ban.
Look, the decisions taken when it comes to bans would fall with my colleagues who would typically deal with either IRCC or CBSA. Okay, thanks very much.